Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So there was a volleyball match at the Air Force Academy against San Jose State University. And apparently one fan, an Air Force graduate, was told that he had to remove his t-shirt because his t-shirt said, "Keep women's sports female." Now I have a couple of those t-shirts, I wear them around all the time. So I cannot imagine being told that I'm not allowed to wear a t-shirt because you don't agree with the message. And obviously we have the First Amendment. They shouldn't be discriminated against because somebody doesn't agree with the message of your t-shirt. But that's what happened to this man. And a lot of it was captured on video, at least the audio. I'm going to react to that. And then he sat down for an interview to explain what happened a little further. He said Outkick obtained exclusive footage of an Air Force graduate being told he could not wear a t-shirt that read "Keep women's sports female" during the team's home game against San Jose State, which has transgender player Blair Fleming. Now the next match is on the 26th, supposedly against Nevada Reno, even though the girls have said they're boycotting and they're not going to show up. And it was supposed to be in Nevada, but Nevada Reno have decided to move the match to San Jose. So the match is going to be moved, and apparently at these matches, they have security now. Mainly because Brooks Lusser received a death threat, but of course they're going to say it's because people who want to keep female sports female are a threat. So the fan, John Kopecki, he captured the moment when officials at Air Force told him to unzip his sweatshirt to reveal what he was wearing underneath. So it wasn't even like blatantly visible. I don't know, let's take a look.
Can't have it. Political. We don't do anything political here.
How is this political?
It's obvious.
How is
I
this
don't need to
political?
explain it to you. You know what it is. Okay? And there's a reason that you wore it today.
I wore it here Thursday night. No one
No,
said
you
a word.
didn't. No, you didn't.
100% did. Sat right there and came to a game. Wore this.
No, you didn't.
100% wore this on Thursday night. No one said a word.
Not for today.
Why?
It's obvious. Political statement. So they don't do that anymore.
How is this a political statement?
How is it not? You explain to me.
You can put your sweatshirt on or turn the shirt outside out, but we're trying to keep it comfortable and safe.
I did have my sweatshirt on and they told me to take it off.
No, they did. They told you to open it so we could see what was underneath it.
I have never been asked to unzip a sweatshirt at any time I've come to a game
Well,
here.
there's a reason for it today.
Can I wear this to a football game today?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because, sir, we know why you're wearing that. It's a targeted.
I don't think I'm targeting anything.
Okay, so basically because the transgender player is on the court, so he's allowed to wear it to football, but he's not allowed to wear it to that particular game because they believe it's targeting the transgender player, I guess. Even though it's under his sweatshirt, it doesn't sound like it's actually visible. In terms of it being political, someone says that to me, I ask them, please tell me which political party I'm promoting by saying that women's sports should be kept female. Now, obviously, people might say, oh, it sounds right-wing or whatever. But at the end of the day, people who just believe in the integrity of sports would support that message, regardless of their political affiliation.
I'm coming here to a women's sports event.
Right.
I was here Thursday night and no one said a word when I wore this shirt.
That's fine. But if you want to stay, you can put your jacket on.
I have my jacket on. They told me to take it off.
You can keep it
They
this
didn't tell you to take it off. They tell you to unzip it so they can see what was underneath.
Might get hot in here today.
Roll up your sleeves.
What's that?
You. Yep.
All the way up.
Please, all the way up.
So we can't see it. All the way.
What's your name, sir?
I'm
What? I'm not going to shake your hand.
okay. That's
Right.
what I know.
I work full time at the
Yeah.
Air Force Academy and
So?
the department. So I'm just saying, if you want to report
And your
me to
name,
someone,
sir? Your name?
feel free.
John Kopecki, class of 2002.
Okay, that's fine. You should know that. Zip it up, please.
It's zipped
All the
up.
way so we can't see it.
Guy is so rude, just talking to him like he's a teenager, like he's a child. I think by now, it's obvious that people object to a male athlete competing in women's volleyball. T-shirt or no t-shirt, any male athlete who wants to infringe upon women's sports is going to need to prepare themselves for that. Because people are not going to be silenced. People are not going to keep quiet in order to appear polite. People are going to say exactly how they feel about the situation. They're not going to stop as long as this continues. This is an issue that is happening all over the country. The NCAA lawsuit. We have up to 16 female athletes across various sports who are involved in that lawsuit. It's not just about this one particular person. It's about the numerous male athletes who have infringed upon women's sports because of governing bodies such as the NCAA allowing it, inviting them to do so at the expense of the female athletes. So it's not just about this one person. There were many cases, many stories I have covered concerning this issue.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
And just make sure that it doesn't come down.
Oh, I might have a problem.
Yeah, we will. We may ask you to leave, okay? Because we've already talked to you about it. And if we see it come down, we're going to ask you to leave.
If you ask me to leave, I like every donation, every season ticket is
It has
canceled.
nothing to do with me. This is what we're doing today. So,
Why didn't anybody care about it Thursday when I wore it?
well,
I walked right by. No one said a word.
no, you didn't.
100%.
I was here.
100%.
I was here. Okay, I'll believe you, but right now, I did not see that. If
Okay.
I'd have seen it, I would have probably said something.
Anyway,
Okay.
see ya.
I'm definitely not a fan of the attitude that this issue seems to invoke in certain people. Not a fan of that at all. The way they spoke to this man, so condescending, over a t-shirt that has a basic message. A very basic message that shouldn't even need to be said. 10 years ago, perhaps, nobody would have found it offensive to say that women's sports should be for females only, that men shouldn't compete in women's sports. Nobody would have found that offensive. People would have laughed and said it's absurd to even suggest that a man can compete with women. And yeah, people have made it political because apparently it's a right-wing issue now, a right-wing talking point to not have male athletes dominating female sports. Let's see what he says in the interview here.
So you mentioned in the video that you attended the game Thursday and you wore that shirt. And what did the shirt say?
Not out in the open the whole time when I was there, but for part of the time. It just says, I think I sent you a picture of it, keep women's sports female, something like that. Picked it up off Etsy.
And no issues on Thursday
No.
with the shirt.
Nobody was checking. I've never usually come in from a hockey game or whatever. You're all bundled up still in all the, in the winter. And I've never had them, try to see. I was wearing this. This is just kind of my downstairs basement cover-up hoodie, but it was just this one right here. They've never made them unzip a hoodie to get in before. So that was unusual.
Okay, so
I figured
yeah.
there'd be some type of reaction, but just kind of surprised and impressed how on top of it they were. Make sense?
Yeah, like unzip your hoodie. It's just ridiculous. Or make sure you keep it zipped up. Like he's a child. There are people who live in liberal areas who wear t-shirts like that. And surprisingly, I've heard positive things. I've heard people say they haven't had any issues. I guess it was because it was San Jose State. We saw the story with the dads with the wristbands. Again, it was because there was an actual transgender player on one of the teams. So when it's that situation, I guess you're more likely to get pushback wearing something like that.
Yeah, so take me through, you park your car, I assume, Saturday, you walk into the event, and what happens?
Yeah, actually I have a tailgate for RVing for football games, so that's a whole different story. Or RV for tailgating for football games. But just walked in. My friend who was going to come with me, but he couldn't come last minute, so I invited my cousin, who is equally appalled at some of the situations with men and women's sports, or males and women's sports, whatever you want to call it. And she was going to meet me there, so I got there a little early, probably earlier than I planned, and just wandered in. And I had no intention to reveal the t-shirt I was wearing that early, but they were just checking. Normally right at the gate, they do quick bag checks, and it's just a wave in. Never seen at a volleyball game any metal detectors or anything like that. They didn't have it for this game. I was kind of wondering what they would do different. The only thing I noticed differently was the sign that said no signs, and they brought out a big board with like all these rules about fan conduct that may have been there in the past, but I've never seen it so right out at the door as it was. And yeah, they just checked my ticket, scanned the ticket, and then just asked me to unzip this zip up hoodie.
So you unzip the hoodie and they tell you what?
They just said, figure from the video, they just said, well, you can't wear that in here. And I go, why is that? And the one lady's like,
So were they telling everybody to just unzip their hoodies to make sure that there was no one wearing a t-shirt like that? Wow. They're really on the lookout then.
not exactly sure what their official roles were. I didn't get that, but to be fair, I have seen them at other events at the academy. I knew they worked there, obviously. But then kind of where that video I sent you started off from, just no political statements, and weren't going to allow me to wear it in unless I zipped up this hoodie and kept it zipped up the entire time. And if it wasn't on a military base, I might have protested a little bit more, but I don't know. There's
And did you feel like throughout the game you were being watched to make sure?
100%. Like I saw, security pointing me out to like the superintendent and the commandant. I could kind of see out of the corner of my eye they were pointing at where I was sitting, and then there was a uniformed police officer. Air Force used to have just military police, but now the academy now, I don't know, the last 10, 15 years have a civilian contracted civilian police force there as well. There was a guy, he kind of alternated back and forth, and he had his eye on me the whole time, and I even just looked over and I gave him a little wink, and he gave me a head nod, kind of like, I don't want to. It was a knowing head nod that he was just eye on me the entire time, so I could just kind of.
Yeah, it's like I'm watching you. I'm watching you because of a t-shirt. You would think there would be like more serious matters to deal with.
To see him on my periphery, just the length of the volleyball court, because I did not realize how close my seats were going to be. I just went online and got best available courtside seat. I knew they were close, but didn't realize I'd be the first one at the net. So I was in a pretty conspicuous spot. So.
Oh, it could be where he was sitting as well. They were extra vigilant. Because more than likely, let's be real, the transgender player probably would have seen the t-shirt if the fact that he was sitting that close. None of this would even be a thing if they just maintained the categories that we have in sports and didn't allow male athletes to infringe upon women's sports. None of this would be happening. But if you're going to force this on people, you're going to push male athletes into the women's category, you better believe that people have the right to express how they feel about that. People have the right to peaceful protest as well. Not that that was a protest. That wasn't a protest. He was going to watch a match, and he had a t-shirt that was in support of the female athletes. Now, I would love to know if somebody had a trans women are women t-shirt, if they would have responded the exact same way, if they would have responded so vigorously like they did with this gentleman. Would they call that a political statement? Trans women are women. There's people with those t-shirts. Do they get the same treatment? Do they get told to zip up their hoodies and be threatened with being asked to leave? Do they get told that they're bullying the female athletes wearing that t-shirt? I think we've received the answer to my question. So Dan tweeted, while Air Force refused to allow a fan to wear a shirt that read "Keep Women's Sports Female" during their match against San Jose State, security allowed another fan to wear a pride shirt, which apparently doesn't count as political messaging. So the Air Force played its scheduled match against the Spartans on Saturday and lost 3-1. But a controversy started before the match began when Air Force graduate John Kopecki was asked to unzip his hooded Air Force sweatshirt. Underneath he had a t-shirt that said, "Keep Women's Sports Female." Security told him that if he unzipped or took off his sweatshirt at any point, they would ask him to leave. Air Force said to Outkick in a statement that the school takes necessary measures to provide a safe environment at all home athletic events for players, coaches, staff, and fans. Air Force declined to answer several direct questions about why the shirt was disallowed, or what made the school declare that the shirt was considered political messaging. But at least one fan in the crowd proudly donned an Air Force shirt emblazoned with the rainbow pride colours, in what could easily be perceived as a show of support for Fleming. Now, if a shirt that says "Keep Women's Sports Female" is a political message, particularly during a match against a transgender opponent, how is a pride shirt not an equally political message? Good question. So this is the Pride Air Force shirt. I don't know if this is affiliated with the Air Force or it's just some custom shirt. It wouldn't surprise me these days. Clearly there are people on both sides of this issue, and it creates intense debate. So why is one side allowed to express its opinion openly and the other is not? Outkick asked Air Force why it allowed the pride shirt and the not keep women's sports female, but the school declined to provide an answer, telling us that it didn't have anything further from its previous statement. And when they were asked if they planned to keep the same security measures as they had on Saturday, they declined to answer that question too. Typical scenario where it's one rule for the woke and another for the people with common sense. So yeah, interesting how I got the answer to my question. I suspected that was the case. No one seems to care whether the women are perceived to be bullied. No one cares about that, but they make sure that anything that could be perceived bullying a transgender person, they're on your case. They're telling you your First Amendment rights is thrown out the window. In a heartbeat, they will trample upon your First Amendment rights to appease certain groups. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.